let's continue. So you saw the join that we've been doing with the inner join that we're doing with the different tables. So there are different types of joins in SQL. So in the lesson 1 thing in GitHub, there's this PDF that describes how these different types of joins work. So the one that we just used is called the inner join, which is the one on the top here, which only shows the results where there is a match in table 1 and table 2. So you saw that we are missing some tasks because they don't have a user attached to them or assigned to them. So it's unassigned tasks. So we only get the task rows that actually has a user assigned to them. So that's the inner join. There are different types of joins. There are different from inner joins. We have left and right join. Left join will always take all rows from the leftmost table, table 1. In this case, that's the task table. Even if there is no match in the second table. So maybe we can actually try that. So if we remove this, this is probably hopefully gonna work. Oh, there's a comment. So you see down here at the bottom, we have, now I changed it from an inner join to a left join. So now we have 2 new rows. We have buy new phone that doesn't have a user attached to it, and we have learn about NoSQL databases that has no user attached to it. So in this case, the leftmost table is the task table, and the rightmost table is the user table. And you can do the same the other way around, just call it a right join. In this case, you will always get all the results from table 2, even if there is no match in table 1. And then there is something that I've never ever used for anything. I don't think you can actually do it in MySQL.
It's a bit different syntax, but
yeah. So
yeah, it's not that useful.
No, it's basically it always shows all the rows from both tables, even if there is no match in the other table. Then it will just be null or null on one side or the other. Yeah, these are the same examples I just showed. Left join.
I think for like 90% of what you'll be doing, it's going to be inner joins and left joins. That's what you usually see.
Yeah.
Because then you just arrange your query so that the one table is always the left if you want all the rows.
So you see, you can do a full outer join by doing a right join and a left join and then combining the results. So that's just a way to get around it, but I've never had to use it for anything in my life ever, I think. But it's nice to know that it's there. Yeah. You can see some different results here. I'm not going to go through them all because, as he said, you're going to be using left joins and inner joins for almost everything. But there are different ways of joining tables, like excluding joins and all that stuff. Maybe you noticed in the database that we're using that everything is named a certain way. See, all the columns are named with lowercase, and if it's a foreign key or 2 words, it's just underscore in between. So you see here user underscore ID and status underscore ID and all that stuff. There are different people use different versions of naming conventions for databases. It doesn't really matter which one you use as long as you use the same one everywhere. I like to use this with the underscore for everything because it's easy to read when you're reading queries. But I've seen people use camel case and other types of naming conventions, and different projects, different people will have different preferences. The important thing is that don't mix them, because that just becomes confusing for you to read it and write it, and also for the people who have to read the code. Yeah. So, and the last thing is basically what I said about the collation thing, is use this thing called UTF-8 MB4, which means that you can actually put in emojis. Let's just try and copy some emojis, just to test it. I'll see if I can actually put an emoji in somewhere. So you can see I have my smileys in the database. That you can put Japanese, Arabic, whatever you want to put in there, you can put in. So if you get some sort of error with some value out of bounds or something, that means that you probably put in the wrong collation type.
Maybe we should also mention that you usually write the SQL keywords with uppercase, so it's easier to distinguish between that and table names. But you don't have to. It works even if it's lowercase.
Yeah.
It's just a convention.
Yeah. It's like I did here. You see, all the SQL stuff is uppercase from left join. The table names are lowercase, but the SQL stuff is uppercase.
Still, you can write it lowercase.
Yeah, I can.
It still works. You can even do.
I can do this. It's gonna be ugly, but it's still gonna work. But it's gonna be harder to read. So it's easier if that is uppercase, and then the stuff, because then you know what part is SQL and what part is part of the table names or the column names or aliases or whatever, whatever the case is. Any questions? Oh, okay. Let's see. I think actually table. Yeah, that's the homework. We don't want to start that. Maybe we can go a bit.
We can do some exercises or something.
Yeah, we can do some exercises actually that are not related to the homework. So we will do some queries together. So I will just be typing, and you guys will be directing me basically. So what do we want to find? Any ideas for a query?
We can show off what it contains.
Yeah, sure. So what do we want to find? We could find.
Yeah, we have a lot of options.
Yeah.
Also with the date times and.
So we could find all the users that have, let's say, an O in their name. So all the users that has an O in their name. How would I do that? How would I do that? Select what? Star? Yeah.
User where name like single
We want them to have an O in their name.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then
another person.
Okay, let's try. Yep. That works fine. What if we wanted them to have an A in the second position in their name? So we want it to be whatever, and then A, and then whatever. Yeah. Yeah. Underscore is just a placeholder for anything once, and then percentages whatever after that. Any? What do we want to find?
How about we find the 5 most recently added tasks?
Yeah. So the created field has the timestamp of, or a date and a time of when they were created. So what should I? We want the 5 most recently created tasks.
Created from the class.
Yeah.
Can you show the results? Just run this.
Oh yeah, yeah. Let me just remove this thing. This is, I haven't mentioned it, but if you put dash dash space in front of something, it becomes a comment. So you can have commented out stuff in your code. And we want, just so we can see what it is we're fetching. We want the 5 top most recently. Yeah. So how do I do that?
In order by created, then.
And do I then want to order it ascending or descending?
Ascending. Descending.
Well, let's try and run this. Yeah. Now you see we get the newest first. And then you said we want to
Limit 5. 0,5.
Okay. You can actually, when the first number is 0, you can not have it, and then it will just show you 5. I always put it there just to avoid confusion, because it's easy to see. Perfect. What if we want the username as well?
Want the username as well?
Yeah.
Email join. User. Okay, maybe in the select we should also write the user.name after created.
Yeah.
Yeah. Email join user on when the task like user ID is.
You can see it here.
When the user ID is equal to task.user ID is equal to user.id.
Let's try it. It says column ID in field list is ambiguous.
That's what we
The first ID.
Yes, exactly. And we could put it here as well, just to make sure which one we are actually talking about. Yeah. There we go. And we have the tasks and the names. Perfect. Cool. What about? I say we want to find out how many tasks have a status. So how many tasks are, how many tasks each status ID has.
How many tasks each status ID have completed.
I'll just comment this stuff out. So it's something with count, right? And what do we want to count?
task ID.
The thing with count is you could also put star in here or asterisk in here, as long as what you're counting is not null. It's going to include that. So if we wanted to count, we can try it here actually. Task, it's going to be 35, I think it is. Yeah, 35. But let's say we're counting on user ID, then we're going to get 33 because we have two tasks that don't have a user ID, null. So it doesn't count null. So usually you can count on ID because it's always going to have an ID, basically. So now we know how many tasks are 35. How do we find out what status ID it has?
Status ID is not that.
I think.
We should find like a text.
But we want to count them by status ID. So status ID 1 has 2 tasks. Status ID 2 has 3 tasks. Yeah, exactly. And what do we want to group it by? Yes. So now we're going to get the counts, but we don't know what status ID we're counting. We can give this an alias as well if we want. My task count. Perfect.
We could even go further with that.
Yeah, sure.
If we also, instead of the status ID, we want the name of the status.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So instead of 1, 2, and 3, we want not started, in progress, and done.
Name of the status.
Yeah.
Now it's getting tricky.
So what do we do? Oh, did we lose someone? Okay, but so what do I need here if I want the actual status name? Yes. Inner join on what? On
You mentioned the name also.
yes, now we need.
Mention the what we need.
Yeah, we need the actual status.name up here.
Status.name.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. Oh no, we can't see it. We can see it. Perfecto. Okay. Any other fun queries we could do? What if we wanted? Let's actually try something here. Select comment that stuff out. So what if we wanted all the tasks that were created in September, but no other month? We only wanted the one. So we have the created column. In this column you have the year, the month, and the date, and you have the time as well. So we only want the tasks where the month is September, so the 9th month. This is a bit cheating because you haven't learned this yet, but so I can show you something, and let's just find a database terminal here. What? Yeah, you could do that. you could also do something else. I could show you something here. So this is the same as just the database console. It's just because it's easier to show on the screen. So this is what a timestamp looks like in MySQL, right? This now function just gives you what time it is right now on the database server. Then there is a way to extract information from that. So you can do year, you can do month, you can do day. I think you can also do hour, right? Yeah. You can do whatever you want on these things. On a date.
So then we can then we can use the AND operator and select the year and the month.
Yeah. So how would you do it here in the where? Where?
Yeah. We have to get it from the creator, right? Created month. Does that well, it's only one table, so
Yeah, we can.
created
And what should be?
months created month of created.
What month is September?
September is like
9. Yeah.
yeah. Right.
Let's try that. Yes. So let's say we also had, now we only have something from 2017 in here. Let's say we also had stuff from 2018.
Then we use AND.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And you can do
Maybe
it.
you can use the date.
Yeah, you can also you can do that here as well. So if I just select date from now, it's going to give you the ISO 8601, whatever it's called, year, month, day.
How can we get the 29?
You can do year now, month now, day. Yeah. So you can do it. You can do it all the way down to the second.
You could also do time, so you get only the time portion.
Yeah. Yeah, it gives you that. Something with I don't think this is in the next thing, but with if you're ever going to store time, or mostly time in your database, also dates, I guess, as well, because this task database is we have we can just select created from task, right? And we have a lot of different timestamps for all these different tasks. But just because it is July 29th in Denmark doesn't mean that it's July 29th everywhere else in the world. So right now it's probably going to be, what time is it now? It's going to be July 30th in New Zealand, and it's going to be July 29th in the US as well. So if you're going to have an application that has support for users in different time zones, that can become a headache pretty quickly. Because let's say you have a due date for a task on July 29th, that's actually July 28th in New Zealand, because there's a 12-hour time difference.
That's why the app asks for the location.
Exactly.
India.
Yeah. If you do it with Google Calendar, if you use that, or Outlook Calendar, whatever, if you want to schedule a meeting, it always says 9 o'clock in what time zone? Denmark, Central European, whatever time they ask for. And then the usual thing that you want to do if you have an application that stores time is to always store time as what's called UTC in the database, and in your backend and log files and everything. UTC is Universal Coordinated Time, and it's kind of like GMT, but it has like leap seconds and all that stuff. But it basically means that you don't have the same timestamp twice, or the same time twice, because you can have that when you have summer and winter time, then it can be 2:30 at night, and then suddenly the clock goes 1 hour back, and then it's 2:30 at night, the same date. And then you don't know when stuff happened because you have the same period 2 times, same time.
Sometimes some time zones have changed over the years. Like they skipped a day or they added a day for some weird reason.
Like example is, Libya, Gaddafi, he right before they changed to wintertime or summertime, I remember, like a week before they did that one year, he just said, I don't like wintertime. And then they canceled wintertime. And then suddenly all computers in the country were wrong for the next week or something because everyone was scrambling to get everything working because all the computers expect wintertime to come. And then they just politically decided no wintertime this year or no summertime or whatever. And it's
bad for the program.
It's crazy. There is a video I'm going to link to you in this Slack channel, which is a guy called Number File, I think he's called. It's a really good way of explaining all this stuff. But the end result is always save stuff in the database as UTC, and then on the front end, if you have a user that has a time zone, then you attach that time zone to the user or to the calendar event or whatever that is. And then when you present it in the front end, you can always present it in their local time. JavaScript has built-in functions for showing time stamps in local time, and there's also something called Moment.js you can use to do conversions between all sorts of different things in regards to time zone. So that was a bit of an offshoot, but it's nice to...
it's a good thing to talk about.
Yeah. I think we usually have a break around now. It's 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'll stop the recording.